episode 4. Today we're going to talk about um, helping with race day. What I mean by that is planning for what could go wrong on race day. And what I mean by planning is maybe do it in your practice leading up to the race on your long runs. So there's a lot of things that could go wrong on race day, whether that be whether you've been sick for the week before, vomiting, COVID, whatever you could get sick with, right? Let's see. There's just so much that could happen before the race day. And if you decide to race on race day because you've been training for it, you've paid the money, but you're sick, and you just take some Advil and go with it. I mean, I guess you could do that. There's also what I kind of wanted to focus on is during the race. So planning for that. So what I mean by that is, you can, how do I say it? You can make your practice runs, your long runs, through the weeks leading up to the marathon. You can do them easily, make them easy, and then race day might be really hard for you. But if you make your long runs a little bit hard, then maybe race day is going to be a little bit easier. So let's dive into what I mean by that. So, I mean, I would challenge you to run at least one long run in the rain. Or if you're going to do a race, marathon when it's snowing outside, or it could be snowing outside, and that the race said that they would still have it on if it was snowing, wherever you are, then maybe have a practice in the snow on your long run. Same thing, if you think it could rain on race day, then maybe do at least one run in the rain for practice. That way you can be ready for race day, even if it rains, right? So let's just dive into this. So if you practice running in the rain, right, then you might get a different pair of socks. You might have to figure out what you're doing with your shoes. The gear that you could use if it was raining outside, right? Because imagine this. It's 2 days before the marathon, and you look at your weather app, and it's saying that it's raining that day, and it's not a little rain, but it's a lot of rain, but there's not going to be any thunder and lightning. It's just a downpour, right? So the race is still on. Well, are you going to race in that race? If you are, then are you prepared? So that's why I'm saying, I think it's a good idea to, do some the hard stuff during the training. That way the race can be a little bit easier. Not that it's ever easy to run a marathon, but just plan for the worst and be ready for the worst. That way you can have confidence, and you know what's going on during the race. If you are running in the heat, then try to train in the heat for your long run. And so if you're running a summer race, same thing, be, train in the extreme heat, so that way you know what kind of electrolytes you need, what kind of vitamin replenishment you need, what kind of sodium that your body needs, and you can train for that, right? And you'll be prepared for race day if, 3 days before the race, it's saying record highs. It's going to be 110 degrees. And instead of dreading it or being scared of it, well, I've practiced in this kind of weather before. I know exactly what to do. So I'm ready to go, right? So, then also there's all kinds of other things that can happen, okay? Let's say your lamp's not working, your light's not working, the battery dies, you forget your watch, or you forget to charge your watch the night before, so you don't have that to help you out to see how far of a distance you went. In the middle of the race, let's see, your music or your podcast that you listen to, let's say it went out, and so you don't have any music, right? So I mean, one of your long runs in training, you could do it without any music and see, or any podcasts, and see how it goes, and just train for the worst is what I'm saying, because you never know what's going to happen on race day. Now, with that being said, there's obviously things you don't want to do, like wearing new gear, new shoes. You don't want to do that kind of stuff. Or eating the gels on the race, make sure that you do look at those kinds of things. So what kind of food they're going to have, what kind of drinks they're going to have. Usually in a marathon, they got lots of aid stations and they got lots of food to choose from, which is nice. But if you've chosen a marathon that doesn't have a lot of aid stations or doesn't have a lot of food, then you need to make sure that you bring what you've been training with, right? And I mean, if you forget your food that you were training with and they don't have many aid stations, yeah, that's gonna be a tough race. But I guess you could try to train for that, during your long runs, and see if you skip a half an hour, what that would do and how you would feel. And so you can, I guess, get used to the worst that could happen on race day. So I think it's good to have the vision of crossing the finish line, and having that vision to do that is always a good thing. But there's so much in between the start and the finish that maybe you're not even thinking about. So, and definitely after mile 20, that's where you're pushing yourself for sure. Whether something happens to your shoes, your knees starting to hurt, there's all kinds of stuff that's going to happen in the race. You cramp up, there's just so much that you have to overcome. And I would say if you train for some of that stuff during training, then it just makes the race a little bit better. And I can't tell you to keep running through the knee pain, or I'm not a trainer or nothing, but there has to be a little bit of willpower. But only you can make the decision on if you're going to push through the pain and make it across the finish line. But I just want you to know that you need to prepare for the whole entire race, not just for the start of the race and the finish line. And just be aware that there's a lot that goes into the middle of the race. So yeah, I hope that helps you out. I hope I don't scare anybody. But yeah, so you could forget your food. You could forget your water pack. You forget your cup, and you have to drink water in a weird way. You forget it's raining, right? And you never practice raining. And your long runs are ever, and it rains on race day. Well, it's going to be a really hard race day because you're not going to have, you're not going to be able to run in the rain, right? Or you're not going to have the experience to do it. So, yeah, so just, run in your elements, what you think could be the worst possible race day that you could encounter. Practice in that. And then being sick, I mean, I guess you could do a long run being sick if one day you get sick. Now, with that being said, most of the time, most running coaches and most people would say, it's okay to take 3 days, 4 days off, and rest your body, get a lot of sleep, right? Which I would recommend. But you could, train while you're sick, if you wanted to. Probably shouldn't, but if you wanted to, just to test yourself and so you're ready for race day, if you were sick before race day. So yeah, or an injury you get before race day. I know I've been sick before race day. But I was okay for race day. It was the days leading up to it. And then I've had ingrown toenail removed a couple of days before race day, which was tough. It hurt. So, but yeah, you just have to push through it and do your best. Okay, and hopefully this can help you out, this episode. But yeah, I mean, I just want you to be aware and just kind of think about what's the worst things that could happen to me and how can I plan for them, right? And just get you thinking about the middle of the race. And yeah, don't try, just common sense stuff, right? Don't try anything you haven't been trying in the training, right? Eating different foods or drinking something different that you've never drinking before. I guess those are just common sense stuff, right? So, all right. Well, thanks for tuning in.